show is brought to you by Health Plans, your Medicare plans, insurance solutions, and resource agency. We have a variety of plans and products that fit your needs, benefit requirements, and budget, with many low or no-cost premium plans, zero co-pays, and much more. Our licensed benefits advisor's priority is your health and well-being. Call us today and book your no-obligation consultation. 1-929-367-5269. Next is Double Impact.
Folks, welcome back to the Sales Wharton, the iHealth channel, iHealth Radio, the NBC Network, with your hosts, Hurricane H and
John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur.
And we are
Double Impact.
That's right. This is our fourth show, and we got a little bit of a treat today. We're going to start getting into some heavy stuff. So watch out. It is Double Impact. And so, we're going to bounce off each other here. And we're going to
hold on your hat, hold on to your seats, because it might be a wild ride.
As always, again, it is not for the faint of heart. And I'm just kidding.
Nope.
This is a fun, and we make it a little bit of everything. So we throw in some curves and some could be nonsense, could be good stuff, but at the end of the day, we believe that it's just there's always a message here. There's always an education. There's always some motivation that we're going to throw in here.
Absolutely.
First things first, John. Why don't you take us around your week, the John Morley roundup?
Well, yeah, the John, I call it the John's Daily National Days.
There you go.
And so when you and I left, I'm trying to remember what day we left. We left on Monday.
Yep.
So that would mean that I went for Tuesday. So let me think what I did on Tuesday. Tuesday was an interesting day. Just trying to think what we did on Tuesday. So that would have been August. No, it wasn't. That wasn't August. That was actually July. Wasn't July 25th, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I got to remember that. Okay. So July 25th, I did something interesting. That was actually, I'm just looking here. 25th, I actually would have been that you and I had our show would have been the 29th, right? Is that right? Because we talked the 25th. 26th. Did I tell you about Bagel Fest Day?
Yes. Well, that was the next day.
So we talked about Bagel Fest Day. That was the yeah. And then I didn't talk about the 27th, did I?
No.
Okay, there's where we are. So the 27th was National Creme Brulee Day.
Yum.
So that was a Saturday, and I have always been a passionate person for creme brulee when I go to the restaurants and stuff, but I'm also always been passionate about cooking culinary, but I never give myself enough credit. So I decided to dabble some more, and people like my recipes, HH. I'm really seriously thinking about opening a high-end cafe that's only open like one night a week and maybe 2 weekends, but it only opens like at, I don't know, 6 or 7 o'clock, and it maybe closes around 10 or 11. And very high-end, where we even print on your drink.
Wow. That sounds like a very unique concept, by the way.
It's very unique, and those drinks are going to be $15 a piece.
Well, I think that makes sense. I mean, considering the times and how often you're going to open, you're going to have an overhead to cover.
I want to do it for parties and big people like Novartis and Novo Nordisk and people like that. But so National Creme Brulee Day, that's CREME with the two bravs on the E and then the little thing on the U and then a little bra on the E, BRULEE, brulee. So the thing about creme brulee is it's a very rich and delicious dessert. So when you go to a restaurant and you get it, they serve you this horrible 6 or 8 ounce container of creme brulee. Now, I don't know about you, but do you know how many calories are in?
No idea. You count those things. That's your territory, man.
Are in an 8 ounce creme brulee. You're going to cry. So this is why I did something intelligent. So in an 8-ounce creme brulee, we are probably talking somewhere around 800 to 900 calories.
For that little thing?
The one that they do, yes. So the one I do, 2.5 ounces, it's just about 225 calories.
And you wonder. I mean, that's just the dessert. Imagine. I guess you had 3 meals that day. Forget about it. You just gained 5 pounds. So
right. So you have to realize it's about 120 pounds, 120 calories for every ounce. Roughly is how you figure it. Roughly. So I decided I was going to make creme brulee, but everything I make, I always want to make it tasty and delicious, but I want to make a small, amazing portion of it. And so I set out to make creme brulee, and I didn't skimp at all. I went to my local Stop and Shop, and I didn't buy vanilla extract. Oh, no, not for creme brulee. I went and bought the pure vanilla bean at $17 for 2 pure beans in the Madagascar rainforest.
Sounds delicious.
So I got my creme brulee and did everything well there. You have to be very careful because when you mix the sauce that you bake on the stove, which is I actually didn't skimp either by using the standard half and half. No. I went to my restaurant supply and I got the 40% full cream. So that's really heavy. So I did that, and when you mix it all together, and then you pour it together, be careful you don't mix it too fast. You pour it in too fast to the eggs because what happens? Well, you'll get scrambled eggs. So you're mixing, you're kind of doing this you're doing this, but you're gently putting a little in. You're like, so it's a little of a project. And then the thing comes is that most people say, well, gee, it's easy to bake creme brulee. Yeah, try it. First of all, if you try to put creme brulee in your normal oven, which most people do, they usually pull their hair out. They're like, it's got cracks. Oh, it dropped. What?
Mm-hmm.
You got to use a water bath. A Marie Brain, a water bath. And so a water bath is a technique that's used for lots of things, but it's a real staple when you cook desserts. Like for cream cheese, like all kinds of cheesecake. We'll get into that in a minute. But so I got my my water bath for my creme brulee, and the way I did it was, you watch these chefs on TV and they have these multi-million-dollar ovens. And my oven's down here. It's not up here. I said, not yet. So when I build my new kitchen, my new place, I'm going to have my oven so I could just walk over, with the little thing. So I had my Instahot. But the problem is you put the things down there, right? And you can't just pour it over. It's going to make a mess. It's going to go into everyone. Now I put 12 ramekins on my creme brulee little broiler thing there. And I filled it with water. So you only fill it halfway. Put it in the oven for about 30, 35 minutes. Check to make sure it jiggle a little bit, not too much. Take it out. Then I took it out of my water bath. I let it sit. And I let it chill for a few hours. And then it's time for dinner. It's time for dessert. Took out my creme brulee, took out my torch, figured out how to fill it up, took the safety down. It was a little nerve-wracking as I was doing this because you're watching people online and you're seeing them have all kinds of issues. I'm like, am I able to do this? Like, they're making this really hard. So I do it. I'm like, okay, I can't be that bad. Push the button. Wow, it fired. Well, I guess I got to adjust it. A little close, put the little sugar on there, and basically melt the sugar in light without burning it. So it'll smoke, and we stop and wait a few minutes. Take my spoon. It cracked. Oh, heavenly. So creamy, so rich, so amazingly refreshing. And you don't just make creme brulee. You can make a vanilla creme brulee, which is what I made. You can make a chocolate creme brulee. You can make a butterscotch creme brulee. You can make a strawberry creme brulee. Make all kinds of creme brulees. And so I decided, I was going to give this to one of my neighbors.
Oh, okay.
They loved it. The guy's like, oh my gosh, did you just torch it? And I'm like, yeah, just oh, wow. So I gave it a few more neighbors. I got a few thank you notes. And they're like, I don't usually like creme brulee, but your creme brulee was better than restaurant. I gave it to some Chinese people. And then when I was all done, I said, you know what? I really enjoyed my creme brulee. In fact, I have one more left because you're allowed to keep creme brulee, basically, just so you know, for 1 week. That's what you're allowed to keep creme brulee for. So if you keep it for any more than the 1 week, well, you got to throw it out. So I made it. So I got to finish my last one by Saturday. So a week is a pretty long time. But at the end of the day, just knowing that I made creme brulee, I can't tell you how good that felt. Like that was like just a real amazing thing for me. And you know what July 28th was, don't you? Well, if you watch my John's Daily National Day video, July 28th was something interesting. But I did some research before I just went to a store. It was National Milk Chocolate Day. So I went and I told the store what I was going to do, and they had to think about it. This was like a few days before, and I went in there and I just said, all you got to do is give me a piece of milk chocolate. Went in there, had the piece of milk chocolate. But first, I interviewed the one person that owner didn't want to be on camera. So the other person, and she had this whole spiel. She was ready. I said, you got to be under a minute. Talking about Milton Hershey, and then Charles Lindt that made it creamy, and it was, and then Daniel Powder started by putting powder in his milk chocolate, and he got milk chocolate. So it was very interesting, and it was great to be inside a candy shop and have a piece of milk chocolate. I mean, that was pretty cool. Now, on July 29th, how many of you guys out there are Italian? Okay, you always say mangia, right? So I went to my local pizzeria, and I said, you know what? Tomorrow's, you can't give me tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Okay, I can come tonight. I can record ahead of, which I do sometimes. I record ahead of time. It's National Lasagna Day. If you'd like to give me a piece of lasagna, I'd be happy to include you in the video. Got the piece of lasagna. It was good for 3 days. Very expensive in calories meal there. And then, do you know what was next on the next day, which is actually July 30th?
Nope.
All right. Well, July 30th actually was a very interesting day because July 30th is National Whistleblower Day. No, National Cheesecake Day. Oh, yes. So I go into my local BJ's or Costco and I buy a whole thing of pure Philadelphia cream cheese, like 8 things of them in a pack. That's how they come. I only use 2 8-ounce bars of cream cheese. Now, that's a lot of cream cheese. Mm. And I decided to use my Marion Bay water bath, and I would, because that's what you're supposed to use. You're supposed to do that with cream cheese so it doesn't crack. And I made mini cheesecakes. But I said, how am I going to do that? I'd like to have a crust on my cheesecake. How am I going to do this? So I took a little butter, took a little bit of graham crackers that I put in my Vitamix. First, the Vitamix, and I put that in, mixed it with the butter after it came out of the Vitamix. And I mixed it up, and then I just kind of put that down on my ramekins, put that in the oven for 5 minutes, took it out, and I added my cream cheese filling. That was, oh my gosh. When I got to the end of the bowl and I said, yeah, let me just try a little bit of that. Oh,
John,
that's heaven.
John, I'll be right back. I have to go grab something to eat. I'm just kidding. Dude, I mean, you went from creme brulee to cream cheese to lasagna, dude. My stomach is growling right now.
Sorry about that.
You making people like it. Sometimes, I mean, there's some people who have breakfast now. They'll take in lunch. Some people have dinner and they're ready to sleep. I'll get the
There's
munchies.
a day actually. I think you could have National Pizza for Breakfast Day. I don't know if I want to do that, but there are some days where you can have things, or ice cream for breakfast day. So I'm learning about all these different days. But so July 31st came. Okay, and you know what that was? Well, that was just yesterday. It's National Avocado Day. One of the hardest things in the world is to cut an avocado. People hurt themselves. People get frustrated. They curse at everybody else. But you got to take the avocado. First, you got to look at it, and you got to take that little C at the end out, and you can check if it's fresh or not. If it's yellow, it's good. If it's brown, no good. So you take that out, cut that out. You can look at it, looks good. And you take a knife. You cut here, hold it very carefully, cut around the avocado. Because you can't cut through the seed. It's really hard. And then you just kind of twist them gently and they unscrew. You have your avocado on one side with the seed. You take your knife, give it a whack, pull it out, use the dull side of the knife, push it off. You got your avocado. Now you cut it in 4s. Now you just easily peel your avocado. Took my avocado, put it into 2.5 cups of milk, just a touch of sugar, and just a touch of salt, and I even added some strawberries just to add a little extra flavor. You can add protein if you want. That was a very healthy smoothie.
You're not giving up on this, man.
What's that?
This is like the show of torture, man.
Am I torturing? I'm sorry.
Well, me and probably a whole bunch of people watching right now. It's
How
all
am I torturing you?
It's delicious. I'm strapped to a chair here, man.
And the funny thing is, when I looked at my my Instagram and stuff, and I was doing cooking for a while, and I would always do the whole cooking. People don't want to sit through the whole stupid recipe. They watch you in the store so they can see what you're baking, then they turn you off so they could try to beat you and make it themselves. So I don't do that anymore. I don't shop with people in the store anymore. Used to do that, and they could watch me, and I say, hey, you want to pay for it? You watch me shop. I come home and I say, you know what I'm going to do? Uh-huh. I'm going to have all my stuff ready, which I always do, but I'm going to make something quick. Well, I'm making my cheese. I don't go through the whole recipe with you. I'm like, well, I'm doing this part of my recipe. 3,700 views in me just taking. I still can't believe it to this day. It was there probably the number probably went up right now. I had over 3,700 views in getting my cheesecake just poured into the little mini ramekins. When I did the creme brulee out of the oven, that only got 300. So people like to see you doing something, but they don't want to see you just mixing. That's boring as hell. They want to see you doing something in the kitchen, like rolling, like this, like that. Maybe piping with the piping bag. We're going to do some piping soon. So they like to see you doing something. They also like to see you eating it like, that's
the final touch.
I wish I could share it with you.
Well, you just did. You just did. I visualized everything right now. It's like my mind's like really, really enjoying this whole thing.
Well, that's good. That's good. And it's funny because I have always loved to do culinary, but I just for whatever reason I stopped. And I said, you know what? This is a perfect excuse, HH, to get back into the kitchen and actually make more than just some basic things. Now, tomorrow is National Coloring Book Day. I don't like to color. Or it's National Night Out Day. That's nothing special. Or National Ice Cream Sandwich Day. I'm going to go to my local college because you get ice cream sandwiches for 50% off. And I'll get one over there. I still remember getting one of these big king cones for only $1 a few years ago. Very cheap at the colleges. On August 3rd, we got Watermelon Day, and there's lots of other stuff coming up. But the point is, I get so into these holidays, into these days, like, what they're doing. And the other big thing we're working on right now is on August 15th, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have our first, no, it's not a food day, first annual National Dog Appreciation Day. We're going to serve hot dogs. We're going to have fries. We're going to have ice cream at the local hot dog caboose in Midland Park. But we're going to have your dog come. You're going to sit next to your dog. You're going to get to make something for your pet. We're going to have doggy bowls for water. We'll have cleanup bags for your sanitary needs. And we're also going to have milk-done dog biscuits. And I have a friend of mine making safe doggy treats that are going to be delectable for doggies.
Listen, you're doing it for round. So you gave us the whole thing about the food for us and the drinks.
Yeah, and every single day,
yep,
we count down. I thought that we should start building down from 16 days. So the ingenious idea I had on Go Social Orbital Media, one of my things. So today we started with 16 days, then 15 days, then 14 days. On 14 days, it was me on the bench with the dogs. Tomorrow's 13 days. Every day, and it's very quick, 10, 20 seconds. Don't forget to get your ticket at orbitalmediaevents.eventbrite.com. And, I think if you're in people's face every single day like that, I get I love the video, love it. Like the one I did today that got uploaded, people must like it. It got quite a few views. Now on Instagram, a little bit quieter, but Facebook, whenever I put them up there, I got to tell you, the thing that I did on Facebook, it got today over 176 views. in just a few hours.
Hey, listen, the views will add up.
Sure, the views add up, and then eventually from the views, then hopefully the likes will add up. We get some likes. But I think the point is that you got to have fun with what you're doing. And I'm definitely having fun. I'm going to lunch with a friend of mine, and she's going to be very surprised when I pull out my camera. Like, so, hey, everybody, today's National Watermelon Day. You can just see it's like, hey, what the heck's he doing? Like, what are you doing? And it's funny because, I do these things and people are like, what the heck are you doing? Oh, excuse me. I got to film my John's Daily Day. You're what? Excuse me. and I get very obsessed with this. The other day was National Talk in the Elevator Day. I didn't find that to be amusing, so I didn't bother with it. But you just go in the elevator and you just strike up a conversation with the first person you see in the elevator.
That would have been interesting, depending on which elevator. Some could go well, some can go bad.
Hey, how are you? I'm John. I'm taking a ride up to the 7th floor. How about you? Oh, the 9th. Great. Listen, today's National Talk in the Elevator Day. So how you doing today? Great. What brings you up to the 7th floor? Doctor visit. I'm up to the 4th floor. I've got a client to see. Oh, that's good. Is that your dog with you? I bet you're probably going to see a vet. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, we won't get personal, but what's your dog's name? Oh, Charlie. Hey, Charlie, how are you? Good. You had lunch, right? You're not going to take my hand. Okay, good. So, I just didn't see that really going anywhere well.
Yeah, I mean, at the rate the elevators move these days, you probably have two words. Hey, how you doing? Good. Ding, the door opens.
And then you stand in front of, I don't mean to block you, but we really didn't have much of a conversation. Can we connect later? Like, who's this person?
Yeah, now you're stalking. Not good.
Well, you're not stalking in one occasion, but I remember I had a neighbor, and they wanted to try something. They wanted to try my dessert, so I offered to bring it over to them. So I popped over and gave it to them. After I gave it to them, I said, "I'll check in with you later, Leighton, how it is." Great. No doorbell ring. Just a day later, the dish hanging on my door on my porch, and a note saying, creme brulee was excellent. Thanks, Matt. Okay.
Sweet.
No doorbell ring. What's that?
Sweet.
Well,
short
it
and
was
sweet.
very sweet and short.
Yeah.
And so then I wanted to bring him the cheesecake, which I told him I would do. So I went over there, brought a cheesecake. He wasn't home. I didn't want to leave it there for days and days. So I took it in. Noticed he got back. I just wrote him a little note. Hey, Matt, I have homemade mini cheesecakes. I had one by your door. I took it away. Pop over when you have a chance and I'll give you one. No response. So some people are weird.
Well, I mean, people remain people. Not everybody is the same. And
so I don't want to offend the person. I don't want to be on it. But I mean, hey, I offered. I put the note there. But you know what? I probably won't bring them another item again. Because the fact that they didn't even get back to me, I could see that my food, maybe I'm not welcome. And so everyone else that I brought it to, they rang the doorbell or they gave me one lady said to me, oh, can I have the recipe? Chris, I'd love to give you the recipe. However, I'm not giving out recipes. But why not? Well, you see, I'm opening up a high-end cafe in about a year, and I don't want any of my recipes on the street.
Quick promotion. Now they know.
I don't want to give my recipe out. I mean, maybe I don't want my stuff just being fluid all over the place, unless it's coming from me.
Oh, no,
but I said, if you'd like one, that you can let me know. I do catering. So if you'd like me to make some cheesecakes for you or some mini cheesecakes or some crib, just let me know. I'll be happy to do cater. Happy to do an event for you.
Well, I guess because you don't have that business yet, they just realized that this was just a hobby and it's okay to share.
It's a hobby, but it's going somewhere, HH.
Well, let's
going somewhere.
So first things first. John, yeah. I know we did the round of all the national.
I got you very hungry, didn't I?
Oh my God, you have no idea.
I didn't have dinner yet, so I got to go home and make myself either a salmon burger or they got these wild fresh salmon burgers. They're only 120 calories from BJ's or Costco, and some vegetables.
Dude, you keep doing it.
Sorry.
I have to take a break, man. I'm gonna take a couple of bites here, and I'm just joking. But dude, we're talking food, and then everybody's getting excited about it. Listen, I think everybody loves to eat, and but really, what you're doing, I think is unique for the fact that not everybody's doing this. How many people are listening and watching right now know about all these special days? Yes, you can Google them. Once you hear us, you might have to Google the whole year and figure it out. But not everybody's going to take the time to go and sample and test and figure these things out and check it out and even share with us some of these opportunities.
We belong to a national agency that actually keeps us updated, being part of national media. So, and by the way, on August 6th, I'm going disc golfing. You have to wait till next week to find out about that, but I'm going to play disc golfing this Saturday.
I'll be curious to see that.
You're going to have to wait and see, but I'm going to go disc golfing, and I'm going to shoot some video on what the heck disc golfing is. And celebrate National Disc Golfing Day.
I will track you.
I'm sure you will. Just believe me, achieve.com. I think, the fact is when you do something for a while, and, I've been doing this for, what has it been? Well, I've been doing videos for years, as you know that, and creating content. But I think I started, when was Flag Day? June 15th or something like that? Right around that, right? June 15th. So June 15th to June to July, we're almost, we're almost a month and a half pretty soon that I've been doing John's daily National Day video.
Well, you have a long way to go, man, to cover the whole year.
But we're going to keep going, and we'll get special with different things. And then, we'll probably add, when they do a cheesecake, last year I did cheesecake. Today we're going to do a blueberry cheesecake, or we'll add some other little thing in there. We're going to always kick it up a notch, like Emerald said. I was even looking at a new torch to see what torch, because my torch is really tiny and small. Thought about getting a bigger torch, but I said, we'll wait a little for that.
Well, listen, I know for the restaurant, you're going to have the real gear. So we're going to have to stay tuned and see exactly when that's happening, and maybe we'll come and check it out.
Maybe you can come for a sample. Maybe you can come for not lunch. We'll be open for just like coffee, cafe, and desserts. No breakfast, no lunch. Just
it's a neat idea. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, a lot of this concept exists. I mean, where there's these little special places where they open just certain hours a day, and people really and the lines are long. I mean, people wait.
And you want to do that? IHH. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. The other days, we can cater your party. When did you want it? Tuesday night? Yep, we're not open Tuesday night. We could be happy to cater your party. See, that's what I want to get, those kind of like orders, or you can put your order in quick and you can come and pick it up. I want to be like that for them.
Well, it's a different concept of business. I mean, again, so today you and we had agreed that we're going to cover a little bit about business.
Sure.
I mean, you are a serial entrepreneur, and you've dabbled with businesses for a long time, and it is easy and tough. People, well, that's a very funny expression. Well, so most of the people tend to grow up with the idea that I'm going to get a degree, go to work. And that's the bottom line, right? That's
nice.
That's nice. Nothing wrong with that. Career paths are great, and there's jobs, there's careers. But a lot of people always, even while they employed, they always kind of want to become their own boss, or they to own their own business and follow their own dreams and stuff. Some do that, some achieve it, some don't. But there are a lot of myths about business. There's a lot of uncertainties about business. There's a lot of questions about business, and there's a lot of perceptions about businesses. Not everybody that wants to go in business because of fear, one, and or taking risks. That's one, and we're gonna break all this down to you folks. And then the other one is that, is it easy? It's not, right? So I don't think
anything is easy. A lot of people believe that they can just go get that book or that 101 for dummies, how to start a business. That's not going to help you. It might give you some ideas, but there's a lot. And I think we talked about this before, that when you start a business, you're not an entrepreneur. Now, we said serial means you do multiple business. We'll talk about that in a minute. But when you're a business owner, you're doing everything to hold on your hat, figure out who you have to pay. What did I just get a bill for? $100 for what? I didn't file a sales tax is due every quarter. Oh, and if I don't pay that, if I don't file it, it's $100 penalty per state. Yes. Oh, and if I don't pay payroll, there's a fine for that too. Yeah. What's payroll? What's fuchsia? Oh, wow. This is a lot to handle. Oh, so that's why they have a payroll service. Oh, I didn't even know what that was. So I think the first part of a business, and that could be 1 year, it could be 2 years, the business owner really is worried about money. They're not worried about the business. They're worried about how the heck do I keep the lights on every day? How do I pay my employees? Right? That's the first part of business. And then once you start to understand what your business needs, we're talking about like the licenses, and now you're starting to get the flow, right? You know that sales taxes due quarterly, depending on what your income and sales is. You know about insurance. You know what needs to be done on certain types of, depending on what your industry is. You just know some things. You know about contracts, which before they kind of puzzled you. Now you're like, yeah, everybody, one person works for you, whether a contractor or employee, they got to sign a contract. They got to sign a non-disclosure agreement. They got to sign a company agreement. You got to give them out a handbook. Oh my gosh. So now that you get past that, which is 2 or 3 years, usually, now they figured out how the business runs. Now it's time that they're ready to put their passion, because they're not going to be stopped by all these hurdles. And then they can truly start to embrace being an entrepreneur and getting passionate about why they started the business. And then they start making money. You don't make money in a business when it just starts, unless the business is a business that is from another business or an idea. That's the only exception. But I think it's hard for a lot of people, HH, because they think they're just going to put the key in the door and they're going to make money tomorrow. You can start with a home-based business, okay? I was very fortunate. When my parents had their home, my dad put on like about $100,000 addition and built me a whole office space with a workshop, and we had a separate entranceway, and we had to get zoned to have a commercial basement, but it wasn't a basement, it was a commercial like showroom. Mm-hmm. I mean, and we had to put our own electrical panel in there that had high-end power, and we're building PCs, and that's good but then when you leave that, so I started home in my bedroom, right? But that's not really, that's considered home, but you have to get into something, because a lot of businesses will frown upon you if your business requires certain types of skills. So, for example, if you're making craft baskets or you're whittling Mary Janes, they don't really care whether you're doing that in your bedroom, your basement, out in the park, at a Yankee game. They really don't care, or a Mets game. They don't care. But when you're doing something with skill, like we're doing, fixing computers, or you're doing marketing, you got to have a facility. And I think certain companies start to appreciate that. So if you're doing something, at first you have to ask yourself, first of all, why do you want to go in business? And that's the first thing you want to ask yourself. Okay. And what do you want to do? And is there a need for what you do? Maybe it's a hobby of yours. And although you can make money turning a hobby into a business, I want to share with you, a lot of people take their hobbies and they run their business into bankruptcy because they treat the business like a hobby. So if you have a hobby, you better change your way of how you exercise that hobby and make it a business. Because somebody says, oh, I don't want to do that. That's too hard. Well, then, and then they kill their hobby and then they're all upset. So you have to really, an entrepreneur is a very unique breed, right? I don't want to say we don't sleep, but we're always looking for something, right? The next best thing. And I had a person the other day, one of my staff members, and he said to me, John, why are you always all over the map? And I just listened to him. And he said, if you just did one thing, you'd be a billion times more successful. I said, okay, well, thank you for your feedback. I think sometimes other people get jealous when you have a lot of eggs in different baskets. They don't like the opportunity that you have multiple fires that could just take off in one time. And I think that scares people because they don't like the fact that you could become bigger than them. Now, that shouldn't matter. And I always say to somebody, if they do become more successful, praise them first, okay? Mm-hmm. Praise them even if you haven't gotten to the top of the flagpole yet. Let's celebrate their victory, which I think is very hard for a lot of business owners, not for entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs support other entrepreneurs. Business owners don't want to help other business owners.
Interesting.
Which is sad, HH.
Well, you're being perceived as competition or threat, right? So, why should I help you? But to your point, as entrepreneurs, it's more of a long term, nonstop action. And to your point, you mentioned if I may, just break down a few things you mentioned. One,
Sure, break them all.
the first thing really is the decision making before you go into business, and you covered some of the challenges in the first couple of years and how what they mean in
Yes.
light. But really, the first thing is that you have to know is this, first of all, something that I'm going to be passionate about and thrive into it, not necessarily just a hobby. You have
Sure.
to turn it into a business. The fear factor that happens in the first place is it going to work? Do I have the capital? How can I do this? How can I do that? Well, so, school can teach you a lot of stuff about business and the basics, right? However, once you hit the actual business, a lot of stuff that you're going to discover was not really given to you in school. It's like theory and practice are two different things. And now you're going to start winging things. You're going to figure things out, and you discover things on the go.
Yep.
But here's the main thing. And most of successful people, business people who have, made it, they will tell you one rule is you got to start, and that's it. You have your vision, you set yourself on the goal, and you go for it. Small steps at a time. You build. Yes, you're going to have
consistent baby steps. Doesn't have to be like a big step, small step. Consistent steps.
Just don't stop.
I think that's a very big key.
Yes, just don't stop. And you know what? It's got to be rough. And once it's like, going into the water, right? The first step is cold, and you get
just
a little deeper.
Just jump in.
Yeah, and then slowly but surely, and you get adjusted and acclimated to the weather.
Just jump in the water, do a cannonball, jump in, and you'll be over it in 2 seconds. It's a bump in a road, that cool, and your body just wakes up, and that's a great.
Well, it is, but really, I mean, the concept is not difficult. But it's going to take, some of your time or a lot of your time.
It's going to take a lot of your time. It's going to have you make a lot of sacrifices, yes. Personal, family, and they have to be supportive of you. And not only that, people say to me, John, well, how do you do this? Mm. And I said, don't worry about how you do it. What you need to worry about is just staying in business. And when you stay in business, you'll eventually figure it all out. Just stay in business.
You have to. And again, you start, right? So the first thing you have to establish is you have to know that you're going to go with this 100%. And what's the worst that's going to happen, right? It's not going to work. Well, maybe that's the worst. So you get that out of the way in your mind, so you don't have to think about it anymore. What you think about is, how do I turn this into a success story to make it work, and I don't have to ever go back? And have contingency plans, have different plans. You said something powerful about multiple eggs in different baskets. I use the same concept. I'm running different things at all times. I never had one thing going on in my life, whether it's for learning or otherwise. I've always been doing a couple of things at the same time, if not more than a couple of things. And the reason being, to your point, is that if one thing doesn't fly right, the other one has a better chance. And the odds are there's always one or two of the items that you've worked on take off. If you don't have all those and you have one place, if that thing cracks on you, it's over. you put all your money in there.
We get this. When you talk to somebody out of college, and let's say they're trying to start a business or they're a subcontractor or 1099, they don't like the idea when there's stuff that they don't understand. And they have this concept I call mad at the world. And I always say to them, look, don't be mad at the world. I know you're having a challenge. I know life is not giving you the lemonade that you want. But we need to be grateful for what we have today. And I've said this before. We need to be grateful for that, and more stuff will just show up in our life. Now, if that person still can't embrace that, it's time to say sayonara. Because, people are going to hold you back. And I think I've seen this so many times. You start another basket. Oh, what do you mean you're going to start another cafe? Why the heck would you do that? Oh, I want to. Yeah, well, you shouldn't do that. Okay, well, thank you so much for your opinion. Yeah, you shouldn't be doing all these things. Oh, okay, well, thank you for sharing that.
Why not?
I'm still going to do it.
Yeah, why not? I mean, just because
because you need to have a life. I don't need to do it. I need to do what I want to do. Yeah, but you're not running. It's my life. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you're just not doing it right. What do you mean? Well, you're not balancing it right to you, but not to me.
right.
Yeah, you're messed up. No, I'm not messed up.
Everybody has a different capacity of where and how much they can handle. And, I had this question asked to me before, like, well, you're doing too many things. How do you do it? Well, how do you find the time? I tell people, when I work in corporate, we are running 10 projects at the same time.
Yeah.
So I treat every single business opportunity that I'm running as
just
that project.
as another. Yep.
Exactly. And you have deadlines, you have timelines, you have this, you have that, and you work it where you learn it well enough, you figure it out, and you dabble with it. Just don't quit it. And yes,
exactly.
It takes time. It's nothing is as
and you got to realize another thing, when you're in business, and I learned this a long time. You got to realize your worth. Okay. So I had a client call me who we've done work with for quite a long time, and they said, "Well, gee, what's the lowest you can go?" And I said, "Well, that's it. That's the rate." And he says, "Well, that's high." I said, "Okay, goodbye." No, I said, "That's it. Goodbye." Calls you back 10 minutes later. He goes, how about if I go like $5 higher than this? Can you do that?" Like, no. But I'm going to give you lots of business over time. Okay. So this is what I'm agreeing to. Yeah, I can't do that. Okay. Well, listen, have yourself a great rest of your day. Take care. All right. Bye. Calls you back again. He says to me, he says, "All right." He says, "You really can't go any lower." I said, "You keep calling me." I said, "I'm not calling you." I said, "My rate hasn't changed." "Yeah, I mean, come on, buddy. I mean, I called you 3 times. I want to use you. You're good." I said, "Okay. That's my rate." I said, "Yeah." I said, "If you're going to keep calling me and trying to lowball me on the rate, you're just wasting your time. And if you call me again, I'm probably just not even going to take the phone call. So you're really serious on that?" I said, "I'm busy. And I'm kind of fitting you in my time." And people don't get it, but when you start to believe that you're worth something, it changes things. Even something as simple as, baking these little culinary things I do. And the lady said to me, she says, "Oh my gosh," she says, "so what would you sell them for, like $1 or $2?" And I said, "No." I said, "Each little mini creme brulee would probably be like $10. "Oh my gosh, that's sick. How about the cheesecakes?" Cheesecakes, they're really good. Probably like $12. They're not worth 12. Well, can you get a cheesecake like that for $12? No, but they're so small and they're good and they're so yummy and they're so filling and they're so rich and creamy. I said, "What do you pay for a cheesecake in a restaurant?" $12, and they're overpowering and you leave. So I'm giving you an experience. I'm giving you a great food, and I'm actually helping you stay thin by having a small dessert on your palate. And I think when you do that, people get a little bit, I don't know, they get taken back. So you got to manage your projects. You've got to have this, I call it a dichotomy of, what you're doing. And just have fun with what you do. Play with what you do. "Well, I can't figure it out." Well, that's great. What would it be if I could figure out? What would it look like if I figured it out? You're insane. No, I'm serious. If you could figure it out, what would it look like? And they start thinking, so you have to put people into a position that they can think about. And if they can't think about it, you got to change their words so their mind can start to form something. We all know when we have a problem and we go away from it and we come back, I got an idea. Your brain's always working. But I think there's always going to be that group. You see, there's a lot of people in corporate business that they're tired of corporate business because they're not treating people. This is one of the things I pride myself in being a corporate business, is that treating people so they always want to stay and not leave. But a lot of corporate companies, you know what they want to do? They want to burn you out. They want to use you. They want to soak you dry. And they don't want to give you your worth. That's still a problem, HH.
Well, it is. But John, you're talking about two things that are very vital here in the business world. One is the belief concept, right? And again, I love it. You always have it on your hat. So the belief, and by the way, those things, I mean, those things, we can talk about them for, years, not just hours and months.
Centuries. Yeah.
Exactly. Believe is the first thing in everything, right? You have to believe, and not only believe in that you can do the job, that you will do the job, that you will succeed, but you also have to believe that it's not going to be easy, and you're going to have to do all the work and stuff. But believe in your value. That's the piece that you just mentioned. If you don't have your own worth, you don't know what you're worth, then how can you possibly, share that with people and show them the value that you are special? And everyone is special on their own way, but you have to highlight that to become that, when they want to go to go to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you do a speaking engagement, well, gee, I can give you a lunch or I can give you dinner. Okay, that's kind of booked right now. And you ask somebody, well, you don't have lunch. Well, this is what I get, So if you happen to change your mind, give me a call. Otherwise, I may not even have the date available. And when you have that, it's not an arrogance, because people say that arrogant. It's not. It's a confidence. And arrogance is when it's like, well, I'm always busy. I'm like the best. That's being arrogant. Okay. Well, this is what I charge. If you're interested, reach out to me. If not, thanks so much. My days do fill up, so I hope we'll hear from you before the date gets filled. That's not being arrogant. That's being confident.
Well, it's funny because you look at some worldwide designer brands, for example, right? They don't do discounts. They don't. You want you want the product, you come and pay for it. That's it. You want a Louis Vuitton? They don't. I've never seen them on discount,
unless it's a knockoff, which, by the way, they're illegal.
Well, there you go. But there's plenty of those. But the real ones, you go to the store. It is what it is. There's no such thing as we're going to give you 10% down, or it's we're doing a clearance. It is the price.
Exactly. I'll give our
viewers. They go up example. Actually. They go up.
I'll give our viewers an example. Okay. Maybe you're out of college. Okay, and you gotten your first job, and I remember working for my parents to try cleaner and managing it. But I also knew that I wanted to do something else too. So I waited tables, which was not easy. But then I decided that I'm worth more than waiting tables. So I decided I'm going to become a black tie and then a captain. And then people said to me, well, John, we can only pay you this because that's always. I said, yes, but I'm a black tie. I'm a captain, and this is what I get per hour. Yeah, well, you're a server. I said, I'm not a server. I'm a black tie server. There's a difference. And so then when you do like, oh, well, I want John. I want him. Well, he gets that. Yeah, well, that's okay. That's what he gets. That's fine. You have to put your worth out there, and you have to believe you can get it. If you say, well, gee, I'm worth $1,000. Well, that's great. But now if you, I want $1,000, but I'm really not worth $1,000. I'm probably worth like maybe $102 a day. And that's what you're going to get. So put the thoughts in your mind. If you want to be worth $5 million a day, 10 million, 50 million a week, put that in your mind and start realizing the worth. And if people don't pay your worth, that's okay. There will people that will pay your worth.
Well, John, thank you for that. But one thing to really add to that is that, yes, know your worth, but also deliver the goods.
Absolutely.
Don't claim that I got all this hype. I'm the one. I'm the only one that you can go to. I'm the best thing in this, and then don't deliver it. I mean, you have to do it. Now, of course, there are circumstances where in some circumstances you can be the best of anything, but things may not happen the way they need to happen for you to get the results.
Sure.
But in a business, for example, concept, if you are setting up, you're good at, I don't know, fixing computers, and you have a special thing that you do, and you have this specialty that very few people can do it and do it at the rate that you're doing, and you set a standard rate, well, guess what? People are expecting to get that quality. That's exactly, again, when we talked about designers, I don't care what luxury brand,
anything, marketing, design, anything.
Exactly.
You gotta believe that you're worth that. And I think that's the main name of the game is that believe. Now that believe could take you a while, but when you believe you're worth it, that's when you start to act in a manner. I had a gentleman today say to me, we only pay that $20 an hour. I said, I think you got the wrong guy. I said, let me give you a site online, you could go look for some college kids. They'd be happy to work for $15-20 an hour. I said, I don't start for anything below this. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, I'm a field engineer. Do you know what the difference is? Like, I actually don't need you to hold my hand through the whole setup process. I can unbox it, set it up, configure it, and have a nice day and be professional all at the same time. Oh, wow. How long you been doing that? 30 years. Oh, wow. That's cool. And they just kind of like.
I'm sorry. Yeah, laughing. You know, John, you said that, I started laughing. I had an email came to me. So in the insurance world, we're all licensed, through the state.
I hope you are.
We have no choice. We have to maintain that. But the issue is that, it's like the funny thing. I get this solicitation email. Oh, we'd like to, exactly what you just said. We'd like to offer you a great opportunity. You have to work at 6 p.m. and you make it $20 an hour. I'm like, did you check my profile, dude, in this industry? Do you know that I actually have been doing this for a lot more, and I make a lot more money than you can imagine. But you know what? That's the thing. I mean, people don't, and obviously there was an email solicitation, but this the worst part about it, when I get annoyed, is that when it comes from like a LinkedIn. I mean, your profile is right there.
I get them too. I said,
yeah, your
perhaps
profile
you
is
have
there.
not learned how to read a profile. Goodbye, block.
Yeah, I don't even respond to them. That's what they get. I mean, it's sad, but I mean, if
I'm hoping that I can teach them something, so maybe they'll read and not burn. What I used to say is, you didn't read my profile. Goodbye, block. Read it next time, and you may not destroy another relationship.
Dude, it is crazy because, and these are not entry people. These are professional folks. And the first thing you do when I look at somebody, I look at their history, their background, what's their title, what they've been, what kind of path they have, so I can get a good idea. So before I connect with you, I mean, it's like know your audience. Rule number one in business.
Yeah.
If you don't know your audience, how can you possibly address their needs? And whether you're recruiting or selling, it's the same thing, right? You want to know what's this particular candidate I'm looking at as a customer, prospect, client, or employee, whatever, or partner. I need to know everything about them and know how to approach them properly, and also tailor things and customize to their need. Because what's the point of reaching somebody and they're just I'm gonna be declined?
Exactly.
It's a waste of time.
Exactly. And then when they come say, I'm reaching out to you because I think you'd be perfect for this position. I said, do you know what a serial entrepreneur is? Here's a definition. You should go look it up online. And they just like, a lot of these people from India, they're from all over the place. And it befuddles me that they waste the time to just like, they go through. Now, I don't accept connections from people unless they're they have to request. So the people that are trying to reach to me, guess what they have to do? They have to pay.
Premium.
They have to pay LinkedIn. It's not free connections. Mm-hmm. They could request a connection, but people that are sending a message, they have to pay. So I think that's a good thing, but I think LinkedIn is getting abused.
Well, there's a lot of digital marketing that's working, and these are blanket things. But the thing is that these people are not looking. I mean, if you expect me to respond to you, but you send me, like, for example, you send me something that had nothing to do with my career path or my expertise, and I'm not going to be any good to you.
Yeah, we need you to help dig in some holes outside for $20 an hour.
Well, I mean, I probably can do that. I'm just too busy doing other things.
but they don't realize that not only are they insulting you, but they're insulting themselves and their intelligence because they haven't taken the time to to really read through. And they don't care. They're numbers people. They're all numbers people. And I told you, when you block, I think it's what I told you. When you block 1, 2, 3, it's like 7 people get blocked. LinkedIn blocks that profile for like a week.
Oh, I didn't know
sending any messages. 7. That's right now. I mean, with 7, I don't know. So if you say I don't know you, if you say no and then you say I don't know you, you click the second one. They get 7 of those in a period of time. Block.
Oh, there's like this soliciting, spamming.
Yeah. So one thing is saying don't connect. But then if you really want to go further and say, I don't know Haswalo, Now that's one strike against Hasawalo. He gets 6 more, and
Oops.
your account has been suspended for potential spamming.
Yeah, I mean, so it's amazing because you're obviously doing it for a purpose of a business gain, right? Or prospect gain, or client,
Yeah.
or someone. So you want to have the right candidate. Why are you messing up and wasting your time?
Well,
You
here's
know,
why they do it. I figured this out.
Hmm.
These overseas places in other countries don't even barely speak English. They get paid for what they call a hit. So now I get you. Okay. I made a connection to your profile. I give that off to my customer. I just got paid money for making a hit to you. Even though I didn't get anywhere with you, I got a connection, and now I hand that over to my. Because what they're doing is they're doing this under another account, and they just push it over to the people that hired them.
That is interesting. You're always learning. And
Yeah, so
that's the beauty of things. We always learn.
we're learning every single day, and I think what a lot of people in this world don't realize is that the knowledge that you could share with somebody will help someone share knowledge with you. Because I always say, if people want to share knowledge with you, that's great. But if you share knowledge with people and then they're like very closed minded, well, you really don't want to share knowledge or help them. Like, I'll take this person the other day, for example. Now, you might say, gee, John, no big deal. They didn't return. But I would have expected, okay, you made a cheesecake. It wasn't made for that person specifically, but I mean, you just put some sauce on it, whatever. And by the way, I didn't tell you, but the sauce was was actually strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, 3/4 of sugar on the stove, pureed for 5 minutes to turn to a sauce, put in the Vitamix, and pureed. Then the fresh fruits were cut and they were chilled both. The sauce was put on to cover the cheesecake, and then the fruits were put on top. So it was a pretty good sauce. But my point is that, if I was on the other end of if the shoe was on the other end of the foot, okay, and somebody brought me something, okay, obviously I say thank you. I probably ring their doorbell and say that was really cool. Thanks so much. Now, if they said, gee, I got something else for you to bring up, oh yeah, sure. And now I come over there and they're not home. Same thing, I wouldn't leave it there. But now if I leave a note for that person saying, look, hey, have this, come on. I'd be like, I'd go over there and say, oh, that was great. Thanks so much for the note. I'd love to try the cheese. I'd love to do this. I don't know if people feel indebted, HH. I wasn't asking for anything, right? But I just look for people to be a common reciprocity. Now, it may not be in anything financial. It might just be introduce me to somebody. It might be, the fact of being a referral from my cafe. I'm collecting my notes for my cafe to be
your
on
review.
My wall.
Yeah, your review, your testimonial. I mean, it's.
I had reviews before I even opened my store, a year before I opened my cafe.
Yeah, no, listen.
I already have the name. So we have Neighborhood Concessions has been in business for about 7-8 years, which is a concession for we do homemade popcorn that I make, 7-kernel homemade popcorn. We have cotton candy, ice cream, and some other stuff. And now we're bringing brownie bites and this stuff. And we're thinking about bringing our cheesecakes or bring our cheesecakes or something there as well. We're thinking about that. And my point is that, so we have the name. The name of the company is called Neighborhood Concessions. So I thought about just adding to the end of it and doing a DBA, Neighborhood Concessions and Cafe.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Because the idea is we do concessions, but we do so much more. And I like the neighborhood name. I can't think of one restaurant in the area that does a dessert close to what mine are. And I keep stepping it up a notch. I keep saying, gee, what could I do next? I'm already thinking about souffles, which I got time for souffles, but, and then there's savory souffles, which are the ones for dinner. And then you have the non-savory, which are your desserts. I just love creating stuff. And you could tweak a recipe a little bit. One of my things that I want to do is I would like to go to Italy, to Tuscany. And I would like to take a pastry class there, and I'd like to take one in France. Because I'd like to get the experience right from the chefs directly.
That would be awesome, and you will love it, man. It's just.
And I know because
stuff.
the one thing I need to learn, HH, I've never made a cake. I want to make a cake, like a 2-3 layer cake, and I want to frost it and the fondant and all that. Every time I try to sign up for the class, it's $175. I've done this like 5 times in a row. They keep refunding me because they don't have enough people for the class.
Ouch.
Now the class is up to $250. I signed up once and they still canceled the class.
This is local here in the States?
This is local in the state, yeah.
Yeah, but nothing's going to be like the experience in Tuscany or Paris for that matter.
So I want to do that. And I guess it's probably going to be like a week course. I'm guessing. I don't even know. Something like that, maybe a week course, just to align. Because there's about 16 fine, I'm going to call it French pastries. And I have decided that I want to err on the side of the French patisserie. I want to err on that.
My favorite.
What's that?
My favorite.
Like the profiterole, the different creams. I got to play with my mousses and stuff like that. And then I want to go back. Now, the French are very known for their breads. Bread is not a big deal with me, but they say you have to learn it. It's an important thing to learn. So I may want to make some breads, but that's not a big thing for me. I probably would like to add some kind of flavor and like maybe do like a chocolate bread or maybe a rainbow bread or some type of maybe a butterscotch chocolate bread.
Well, it could be like a fruity bread. I mean, something totally different.
I'm not much for fruit bread, but yeah. You could.
I'm saying you can be creative.
You can be creative, and that's just my thing. And I always like making desserts. I like making cookies and stuff. But I said that's my flair, and that's why I want to get into next year printing on your food and printing on your drinks.
I know we talked about that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool stuff.
So I'm going to start dabbling in that probably around November, December. I'm going to start making some cookies with my logo and stuff on them. And then I'm hoping in January to launch out a first mini cake. I think the restaurant's got about another year. Not this January, maybe next January. I'm hoping by this January I'll be into, let's say, catering of high-end desserts. But the following year, I want to get into the culinary where people can come and I can be rated. But I think that has to come after I go to Europe. Like once I get that, because I also want to make crepes. Crepe Suzette. And the ones you set on fire. So I'm going to learn these French patisseries, and then I'm going to add my own flair to them. That's kind of my thing. Going to add my own little twist to it.
Well, again, your signature. But John, someone could be watching right now and say, "Well, this dude is all over the map," as you said.
Yeah. I'm nuts.
But folks, if you think about it, right? John started in electronics engineering, and he did all that.
Do that.
Yeah, see, exactly. He did all that, and
we do Wall Street and we do Nordstrom's, for crying out loud.
But my point is that you've done all that. Yours in the making. So
still doing it.
That's exactly. I mean, now it's just second nature. You've done other things. Your marketing, your digital, your media. You're doing all this. Now you're venturing into something else, which is a passion of yours that you discovered that you have a flavor for. There's nothing wrong with that. And as a matter of fact, jack of all trades works sometimes. You don't have to be.
It works as long as you can balance them. And the nice thing about what I did is every business feeds off each other. Yes. So the tech business needs the marketing business. The marketing business needs the baking company because we can't make bakery products. We have to design. The bakery product needs the orbital media company so we can design, because Neighbor Concessions won't bake printing something unless it comes from orbital media.
Well,
so right. That's kind of the idea, is that flair to really take it to, IT. And then, of course, we have the JCM Academy, which is if we're not doing enough, which is the coaching and the keynote speaking and stuff like that. And maybe someday I keep getting these people are doing, oh, you want a TED Talk? I already applied. Like, I can tell you how to be a TED Talk in 6 months. Yeah, you want to charge me all this money, and I can tell you how to get on stage. They really don't have a magic bullet. They want to charge you some money for their stupid course, and then they put you on a stage. And I applied. I think it'll just take some time. And I just want to tell the world my story. I want to tell them how I got started, what kind of motivated me. And that's kind of what we're doing now in our John's Daily National Base. We're starting to get into telling the story of a business owner. And you might say, gee, why am I doing this for free? because eventually you're going to want your business done, and I only do businesses that I invite for free. Like I may want to, like for example, next year's National Cupcake Day. I'm going to go around to 4 cupcake places and be like, hey, everyone, I ran all these 4 cupcake places, but I have to tell you the one that I like the best has to be my own, with my own signature print logo on it. So, just kind of throwing some things around there. And I think people like things are different. It could be favors, it could be birthdays, it could be all kinds of stuff. So a website's going to roll out, I think January is when we're going to roll out neighborhood concessions and all kinds of high-end catering and stuff.
Well, John, again, here's the thing. You start and then you'll figure the rest out. I mean, you have already the general idea. Now it's just
It's general, very general.
Exactly.
But I know that I can bake for, like I said, I wanted to try the recipes and see if they were any good because, your friends always tell you. But I gave it to some people that were kind of like acquaintances. They weren't like great friends. And they're like, oh my gosh. I said, which one did you like? They're both excellent. The cheesecake, the crema, I can't tell you. They're both really good. They're like, I just maybe not as, maybe a little worse than a restaurant, right? No, better than a restaurant. Better than a restaurant.
John, you said something that is very, very important to our audiences right now. See, the fact that you tested it and you wanted to get a feel for it and you got some nice reviews or good feedback. And now you are planning to start the business. So you're actually turning the idea or the passion into a monetization concept. But now also you're willing to take the trip to Tuscany, to France, to learn, the additional skills that you might need to be even better at what you're doing. This is exactly what we need in this world, is that you have an idea, great, start working on it, start dabbling with it, and then get the expertise in it as you go. So don't stop until you get all the parts together. You start working, get the bigger plan together, and start working on the next pieces to put. It's like a puzzle. You have the big image, you start putting the pieces, the big ones first, and then you start,
I think it'll probably be the France first because the French is known for their pastry. So I think I probably have to find out how long it is, but I'm guessing it's probably going to be like a 1 or 2 week course is my guess. Because I don't want to be like more than that. And I just kind of want to dabble with them. But I think when you learn, that's how I learned. I taught myself chocolate. I don't know if you guys know, I do my own tempering of chocolate. I taught myself tempering chocolate from a world famous chef. And, not an easy thing to do, all because I got frustrated because the company wanted to charge me a fortune to make a couple hundred bars. I went to Food Network and I think they told me it was going to be like $10,000. And I said, I think I could do this if I could figure out how to make the plastics. So I got a company to make me the plastics. And I practiced how to temper chocolate.
See, that's the thing. You face a reality of something that is completely like out of mind, or basically just maybe unachievable at the time financially, whatever. But then it's creating the need for you to actually learn and become skilled at it, and that's it. So that's actually number one source for you being an entrepreneur. It's like you see a need.
One thing you do need. There's one thing you do need as you grow. You do need some helpers. So you come up with the idea, you do it. Okay. Then you have some other junior chefs be working on. You're still overseeing everything, but you can have some junior helpers, apprentices help you out. Because let's face it, I do a party of 500 people. That's an awful lot of things for me to make. And I think I have to start getting into larger type machines because we're talking about big 6-8 quart machines now that I have commercial, KitchenAid. But I'm sure I'm going to have to get into mixers that are on the floor. And that's a different kind of baking. It's a little different from me, almost a little scary.
Well, I know for a fact, I'm familiar a little bit with the French, bakery business and patisserie and stuff. Just being born in Morocco, raised in the French household, somewhat, I've, pretty much got introduced to the French, culinary arts, over my youth. And, been to France many times and a family in there. So I can tell you, you're right. That's going to be a whole different, aspect of it, but it's going to be fun because to be honest with you, I have been to a lot of places here in the States looking for some real good French, accurate or really authentic
eclairs.
kind of Yeah, and I still haven't.
And there's a lot of places here, like we have a bakery in upstate New York that's very good, but they're not going to do those French pastries. They're not going to do the profiterole. They're not going to do creme brulee while you wait. They're not going to do a cheesecake, a mini cheesecake. My whole goal is not to make big desserts. It's to make small little plate size things. So if you're having a party, yeah, I'll make a little cake, but I don't want to make my desserts to be something that's going to take up a month of calories. I want it to be a little taste.
And that's exactly right. I mean, most of the expensive places, they don't give you a lot of quantity, but they give you a lot of quality. I mean, you just, the simpler.
And then I got to get better at my plating.
Yep.
You know, how you plate and stuff. So that's why, I have to see, but I'm sure the first step is going to be, seeing how big I can get in mixers before I have to get into floor mixers, because I think floor mixers is going to be a whole, and that might not even be something I do the first year I open, because the thing is, there's a whole different mentality when you go from this kind of cooking to that kind of cooking, let alone the ovens, right?
If your concept is really like some extra refined, very hands-on touch, you might continue to do it in a smaller scale, meaning small appliance, well, I guess equipment, than the large scale, because the large stuff is going to be like almost mass manufacturing.
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't want to get into. I want to get into more. Like I think I have a 4 now. I think I want to get as high. I want to guess maybe 12 quart would be the highest I'd go. But again, when I make a recipe, it's basically like I'm making 12 or 15 of something.
Mm-hmm.
And that 12 or 15, let's say I have people in the night. So maybe I have to make enough creme brulees for, maybe I only can accommodate 100 people a night. And after that, we're done.
It's hot items. That's it. First come, first serve, the first 100. Yeah. And believe
maybe
me,
we do 50 of each or something. Oh, well, if you're coming tomorrow, let us know. The chef can we can hold one for you.
well, they do that. I mean, like, and it's funny. It's going to sound weird, but think about Christmas and holiday shopping, right? They tell you the first 10 people in the store get the first 10 TVs, right? Well, it's a concept, that is very, applicable in this realm. It's like, we're going to have 1 hour, 2 hours. We're going to have the best, Kimberly can have in 2 hours. The first people to sign up or to come in or to
well, when we do our grand opening,
yep.
I think what I will do is say, hey, we're going to have mini creme brulee, like really mini, like really just like, I'm talking about like this mini, like really like a
samplers,
real samplers. Yeah. Just have them taste that and just have a couple of the items. You're like, hey, we do this, do that. And if you'd like to for your party, come in. We'll be happy to offer you a free sampling. We do have a $250 sitting fee, but we take that off of your catering bill just because we don't want to be making you all kinds of food for free. We take that off your catering bill.
Nice.
So it's a $250 seating per person. So if you have 3 people in your wedding or 4 people, you want to bring those people, $250 per person to come to our tasting.
Well, Chad, may I just a quick idea that comes to mind?
Yeah.
One thing that people will always pay for, besides just the quality and
yes.
especially, is the experience. So you can couple all that with some unique experience in the environment that they come in, and then believe me, you're gonna have the audiences lined up for months.
It's basically gonna be, they come in the way they'll come in, they'll come to a whole thing, they'll sit down. I'm even inventing, they come in, they meet us. And we talk about what kind of desserts they want. Then they come back and chef prepares them.
Wow.
We don't prepare them while you wait. You tell us what you're looking for, what kind of tooth, what kind of flavor. I have something. Maybe I'll put a little lime in that. And I'll come up with different things and we can see. So I almost think of it like a creation where we have our staple item, but we can always, I wish I could have mint in there. We could add mint to the creme brulee. We could do that. Like, what did you want? I wish I could have had the creme brulee with a little coconut. We could do a coconut creme brulee. Like, see, what I'm saying? That's the kind of what I'm envisioning. Like, what do you want? I would really like cherries, or I would like apples in there. Or
it's truly customized.
Even the cheesecake. Mm-hmm. How about a red velvet cheesecake? Or how about this cheesecake? Or how about a chocolate chip cheesecake? Or I just sense the whole idea of like, I'll give you the general idea. And you tell me, what do you like? What's your flavor? And I'll make it happen.
Love it.
And of course, Orbital Media can do all the print and production to make it even great. So your event will have, and it'll be a perfect giveaway, like a perfect favor. I really want to get to making cannolis.
Well, it's funny because years back, well, I think it's still in effect. What is it? There's a cheesecake. I forgot the name of it. Is in Brooklyn.
Oh wow.
Uh, yeah, and it was one of the historic places in Brooklyn, and they literally ship the cheesecake all over the nation, and
Oh wow.
in dry ice. I was doing a training in Indiana for a team for a call center, and we had a contest, and what we did is like one of the when we finished the whole project, and we're gonna get you guys some pizza, not pizza, some cheesecake right from Brooklyn. Damn, I cannot come up with the name right now, but it is a famous downtown.
But they're very big. They're big.
They're huge. They're huge.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I see. I don't want to do that.
no, no.
Yeah.
Well, I'm alluding to the idea of unique and special. I mean, these guys are shipping all over
So
because
the
of their
idea
name.
of shipping is something I've thought about. But you have to realize the kind of desserts I'm preparing with the flame and things like that. You can't do that. I'm looking to serve like Franklin Lakes, Oakland, Wyckoff, the immediate Bergen County. Like my daughter had bar mitzvah, son's having like that kind of a thing. Birthday party. That's the kind of thing. And although anybody could do, people do cakes, that's a positive. That's not really where I'm going. I'm looking to do more of your high end type of experiences.
No, John. I'm with you. I wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I was not alluding to you shipping, but
Okay.
they build enough brand that they become so famous that people they used to only go to that space in downtown Brooklyn, and it's still there actually. The original's still there, but they've over the years people so far away they want their stuff that they're willing to send it to them on dry ice overnight. Now, obviously, this is different. This is pre-made stuff locally, but originally it was like going to the Nathan's, like Mama Nathan's, back in the days.
Yeah,
I actually been to the place in Bensonhurst years back, and met with the original, crew, when they started the whole thing, right? So there is stuff like that is unique. You will be creating that opportunity for the future, so people will come to this concession.
They would want to come and see our location or something. Like
exactly. That. So I was referring to more like having the experience, the element, the setting different to your point.
I'm thinking of it something like you call us to make a reservation, and we send you out an invitation in the mail, requesting your presence.
Nice, very, very, very touchy.
and then the way I do it is, instead of you saying, well, you don't pay, we give you like 1, 2, or 3 to try. So there's not a fee per each. The dessert sitting might be a sitting, which includes coffee, tea, and I don't know, it could be $50 a head. But it would just be a very interesting experience. And you'll get to pick from 3 of these items tonight, or the chef plus chef will have something you'll get to pick something.
Well, no, I tell you, like in my wife and I, we do like a Valentine's thing, right? And this last Valentine's, we actually took a ship right off Jersey.
Very nice.
And it's the Quantum of the Seas, which is Anthem of the Seas, rather, which is Royal Caribbean. And they have Wonderland as a restaurant, one of the specialty restaurants. I mean, this it's all an experience. This restaurant specifically, you actually go in there. They have these miracle paints or whatever, like ink or menus that you actually they disappear, and you put a little bit of a liquid on them, and they just appear again. And the food that they give you was all almost like made in there. Like the tomatoes were not real tomatoes; they were like made from other ingredients in there that tasted like. It was just a whole different experience. We wanted to see what was the fuss about, and it was just a unique experience in its own. So creating that is I think
I like the idea that people, so like they have to call us, then we send them an invitation by mail.
Yep.
And then they respond back to us, which is inviting them for the exact time that they've requested. And it would basically include like a coffee, a latte for each person, and a nice dessert sampling or something like that.
Well,
that's kind of what I'm picturing.
I can't wait, John. You got to get it done.
Well, it's gonna take a little time, but I think the experience could be really hot. I mean, I think it could really take it to, the next level.
Yeah. Well, again,
and what God gave me the idea is, I'm not going to mention his name, but there's a gentleman I know. Well, he started an ice cream parlor part-time. He does something else. And I was like, wow, he's only open, but he's open every night after 6 or 7. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to open like maybe one night, and then I'm going to open on weekends from like maybe 7 to 10 or something like that. Just very short. Again, you have to realize if I'm charging people $50 a head and 4 people come in,
I know.
I don't really have to stay open that long. And oh, by the way, did you want to order something? Did you want to get something to go? Did you want some other to go or something like that or whatever? That's the kind of thing I experience. We have to realize certain things like the flaming stuff you can't to go, but other things, could be to go. It could be something as simple as a very mini delicate brownie made with pure vanilla bean.
Yeah, John, I don't think anyone in the history of podcasts or shows have actually entertained an actual business idea open on the show and just kind of like, started discussing some of the potentials. And I think that in itself, it's unique. That's your signature. You are visionary. You're seeing things, and you are, you almost making them like you almost like creating the visual effect for people right now.
I've been wanting to do culinary for a very, very long time. Right? And getting that torch was a first step. And I have my digital thermometer. You point the link, So I think like that, and that could also help my other channel. I thought about adding a food thing to the food because we don't have a food channel, but I thought about adding a food thing, and then having a team that just literally just. I don't want people to film me making this stuff. I want people to film the wow effect because I don't want to tell people how I do it. I would just film like and here's the presentation or here's the, and I see that I could just see a small little shop. I mean, it could be something as simple as 100 people, but it would just be a very small, but it would be like seatings.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that working. And I could see some junior culinaries just helping out to try to help us. Because the problem is if you have all these people, you got to flame it right away. And I also see as the fact that maybe we would flame it tableside.
Which is common in some of these, high-end places for.
They don't usually flame creme brulee tableside. They flame cherry jubilee tableside, but they don't usually do creme brulee tableside
because they come ready from the kitchen.
Yeah, well, a lot of them they take shortcuts and they take this big propane torch. No. I want to do something like wow, you right in front of you. I love doing things to do a fire. I want to master cherry's jubilee. So, like I said, I have these ideas, and I think. If we can get these ideas, they get on my website and say, hey, John, John does this. John's a local culinary. I think graduating from that school, again, I'm not going for the $100,000 degree. I just want to go for it more or less to get the experience.
Well, you will, and you are, and we are going to be looking forward to this, when it's ready. And
then we'll get into making those homemade, like, the chocolate patisseries, the real small ones, and fusing them with a very special filling.
And the idea is just popping up there. You're giving us, the secret sauce right now as far as the menu. But so John, I know we come into the end of the show.
Are we? Oh, wow.
Yeah. We've actually, just went over, but it's all good. I mean, certainly this is a unique experience as a show in its own, because we're trying to make it as very, this is not, again, orchestrated or, rehearsed. This is it.
You didn't get the script? I thought there was a script. There
is a script. Now we have one. Now we can transcript. But yeah, I mean, again, we try to cover a lot of different things. And, as you can hear and listen, John's passion here, this is you out there. If you're thinking about a business, an idea can turn to something. John is just sharing with you right now how he sees his own next, item, next entrepreneur, opportunity being made and created. He's already got the whole lines up, you got all the big, major stuff. The next thing is just the details and making it happen. And I know for a fact that John does not fail anything that he puts his mind on, because I've seen him, doing his business. He means it, he does it, and he will deliver it. So you yourself listening, watching right now, there's no reason for you not to do what John is doing. If you have something in your mind, take it to the next level. What do you get to lose? Nothing. You lose everything 100% if you don't do it.
If you don't take the first step, you're never going to know if you can achieve the journey. And you can get better and better. If you can't get to where you have to go. Many years ago, I couldn't even do creme brulee or do cheesecake. you start to learn what a technique is, and you start to practice that technique. You get better at that technique. I couldn't do a souffle that didn't flatten out of the oven when I first started years ago. So you get better with a technique and you practice it, not to become perfect, but as the French say, to become better. You're never going to be perfect. It's going to become just a little better. So I think the best thing I could tell you to do before you start your business, get a piece of paper like this. Draw a circle in the front center. Write down the main idea. And as you start getting other ideas, you can just draw lines and you can draw little circles. And then from those, you can spawn off from those. And that will help get your idea. I also recommend getting a book, like a little notebook, small one. And when you see something around that resonates close to what you want to do, write it down. Write those ideas down. And just think about saying, what would it look like when I had this? Don't say, oh my God, how am I ever going to do this? No, my question to myself is, what's it going to look like when my fine pastry shop experience opens up? Not, oh my God, how am I doing it? What's it going to look like? What's it going to feel like when I get Chef of the Year award on a pastry? What's that going to feel like? See, that's the kind of questions you want, because those are the questions that are going to propel you forward to motivation, to actually take those inspired actions.
And achieve. So see, we started with the believe and we ended up with the achieve. So really, there's a lot of work that gets done between those two, but that's exactly what everybody should be aiming forward to. And you can. And John, thank you. I mean, for breaking it down. And I love the concept of writing it down, because, I do that myself, because sometimes I wake up in the middle of the morning, I get an idea. If you actually don't write it down, the morning you wake up, oh, damn, I don't remember what it was. But if you put it down that paper, it's there. You put it, I don't put it on paper. Actually, I go to my notes on my phone and just type it up quickly and then go back to sleep. Sometimes it takes me an hour to go back, but hey, I find it in the morning and I take it from there. So you folks have the access to a lot of the stuff. Do it any way that works for you. But the key here is, don't just think of things, do things. And that's all I have to say. John, it's been real again.
It's been real. It's always great to be with you, HH.
Yes, sir. Well, say likewise, man. We have fun. We share a lot of things, and hopefully at every show, people will take something out of this. We throw in a lot of things left and right here. It's just take what you can, what you want, and maybe not this show, the next one, but just keep up.
We'd like to do a live, hopefully, maybe before the end of the year, maybe early next year. We'd like to do a live in person event.
We can do that somewhere. Actually, that's not a bad idea. I mean, now that everything is, the COVID business is,
well, it's kind of in a remission.
Yeah. Well, so we just have to be mindful of that, but certainly we'll get back to normal, 100% normal, or maybe pre-COVID normal eventually. We'll see. But at the end of the day, we can still do these things in life. And yes, I mean, ideas will continue coming in. John and I will continue figuring out a way to do more and more for you, and hopefully bring you more action, more stuff, more fun things, and more learning.
And our double impact should hopefully impact your life to make the changes you want, to become the success. What are you waiting for, folks? No one's going to make the change and tell you to get off the TV couch and live your life. You're the one that has to live your life. So don't do it now.
And we're only here to remind you of that. That's it. We'll just try to motivate you and inspire you to do it. And that's all. We're doing our thing, but we want everybody to do their thing. Remember what you just said, John? Entrepreneurs love to help others and want other people to succeed. That's the idea here.
And that's how you know that you've got a true entrepreneur. An entrepreneur wants to help other people grow in abundance, and they're not selfish.
Not saying anymore. So, John, you close in this one. So,
okay. Well, it was a great show, everyone. And you're going to catch us right back here on Double Impact. That's going to be next week. Same great time. Tell your friends, tell your colleagues and your associates, like us, share us, check out our great content, because we know there's a lot of nuggets here. And it's a great thing to have over a cup of coffee or your favorite brew, or even a champagne or a Prosecco. By the way, National Prosecco Day is coming up too very soon. So definitely check that. And that comes on the same day as National Filet Mignon Day. So that's coming up very soon.
Again, you finish it up with my food business. I'm going to have to go grab me some bite here.
I got to have dinner too. I had a late lunch, early lunch. So I definitely got to have some dinner too.
All right. Well, John, it's been fun. I am Hurricane Age.
And I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, and it has been real here at Double Impact.
Double Impact it is. Folks, bye for now. We'll be talking soon.
Bye, everyone. Take care.